It's
No, she has a presentation.
yeah, it's
I have
quick.
no, I have Noma has a presentation.
And
United
Palace too.
Palace?
Oh, United Palace.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I am
Yeah.
so sorry. Yeah. Okay. Oh, there you are. I'm so sorry. I should read the entire sentence. Love the United Palace. Was so excited that year that Vogue did a photo shoot, a spread.
Yeah, you know what? We're I was on the board for a little bit. Now I'm helping them do outreach since I was many moons ago, very active in the community. They asked me to help them with doing this type of outreach and connecting them with stakeholders and talking a little bit more about their mission and their vision being more community oriented. So happy to help.
Angelino, I work with Classical Theater of Harlem. We'd love to do something.
I'm sorry, you work with?
Classical Theater of Harlem?
Yes, absolutely.
Love to partner.
So the presentation that Ebenezer was mentioning has the last page has the contact information for their new community liaison. Her name is Estefania. I believe she's on as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, for sure there's opportunity to think about ways of partnering together.
Yeah, because we're doing something, we're doing this it's gonna be like it's a radio series.
Oh.
Called El Barrio Live.
Love it.
El Barrio Lives, and it's about so it's a radio play, and we're gonna have about 5 actors. 5 writers have written monologues for various people that contributed to the vibrancy of East Harlem. And so it'd be great if we could do something joint with them. We did something in the lobby.
Oh yes, and that's exactly what I'm going to talk a little bit about. I'll give a little history for those that don't know about the United Palace. The presentation again, it won't be long, but it's important for us to understand where we were and where we are today. And as I said, United Palace is and the board very focused on being more community oriented, and that means yes, the utilization of the space or the effective utilization of the space. And so we'll talk a little bit more about that.
Great. I'm excited.
We're just going to give it a couple of more minutes. We have some members that are on their way.
Can you sign in?
Yeah.
Over here.
Yeah, got it.
Hello, welcome.
Thank you.
See, the only time is sometimes when I'm writing the notes, I can't easily switch over.
Meaning? Well,
Like-
if you shrink the window,
Here.
yeah, there you go.
Let me make sure I can still do it like that.
The ongoing issue is that there are people that are typing questions in that computer, but I cannot see it in this computer.
I can't see it either. Remember we
That's
had
very odd.
Remember
Yeah.
last time we had that same issue?
I mean, oh, you know why?
Why?
Because it's the stuff that I'm typing. So if it's, yeah,
Okay, so when you're responding, it's coming up like it's more messages than it actually was.
yes,
Gotcha.
yes. So I think we should be fine, so. Ebenezer, oh, here it is. Let's see the Q&A. That's what, okay.
Yeah.
All right. There's 24 participants online. Okay. Let me see the participants. Okay. All right. And then we have 16 attendees. Very good. All right. All right. All right. We're going to start in 1 minute. We're going to start in 1 minute. Thank you so much for your patience. All right. There is one hand up. If you can please type your question in your chat because we haven't started yet. Unless there's somebody that's doing a presentation and I need to elevate to panelist. All right, maybe that was a mistake.
Should I, I shouldn't unmute, right?
Okay. No, don't.
I know, I just, I was checking.
Yeah.
Rocky's dog run? Was she talking about Rocky's dog run or are we talking about a new dog run proposal?
Well, that's what we have on the agenda.
So, yeah.
So
So Leslie
this?
Henry.
Avatar Neil.
Avatar is one of our neighbors.
But are they presenting?
No.
Well, no, they shouldn't be.
No, that's not who's asking it.
They're supposed to present that.
Well,
Okay.
Rocky's dog run is what I'm saying, is also asking.
No,
So
they're
I'm
not
trying
on,
to clarify.
yeah, they're not
Yeah.
on the agenda,
I'm just
then
trying to
that's gonna
clarify
have to wait
which
till
dog
December.
run it is.
It's
Yeah,
the
and-
new proposal.
Yeah.
The new proposal, okay.
Yeah.
He's just presenting instead of Andrea.
Oh, okay. So Avatar is.
So this
presenting
is, so Avatar, this
Will be
person is
presenting
on the agenda.
on the dog run proposal, but it's
Got
not gonna be this
Avatar
person,
run.
Andrea. Okay.
So Stefania Mazzara from, where is that from?
Let me see.
Stefania's from UP, United.
Oh, okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, we're going to get started. We're gonna get started. We're gonna start this meeting at 8:36. The meeting is called to
8:36,
order.
6:36.
I'm sorry, what? 6:36. What did I say? 8:36.
You're ready to go home.
6:36. I'm so sorry. I've had a long day at work. So, good evening, everybody. Buenas noches. My name is Luana Ferreira. I am the chair for Community Board 12 Park and Cultural Affairs. Welcome to this committee meeting. There are agendas here for you, and there's also a sign-in sheet. And I'm accompanied by my co-chair, Alexis. How do you say your last name, Alexis?
Marnell.
Marnell. Oh, that's
If
easy.
it was still Greek, we would have a problem. We could go all day.
Mornell. So we're going to start with opening remarks. I want to thank our partners who are here ready to make a presentation. We're going to follow the agenda in this order, and I understand that there are some concerns that we will address during new business with regards to the Jumel Mansion. We just don't want to, we want to make sure that we give our partners the opportunity to present and then bring concerns and questions during new business. That way, the meeting will not be monopolized or tilted just with one focus and one topic, because we have as you can see, we have a jam-packed agenda. Also, as a kind reminder, if you want to be put on the agenda for a presentation, that goes through our district office. And in order to get our affairs, no pun intended, organized, we're asking that those requests are done by the third Thursday of each month. Otherwise, they will be rolled over to the next month's agenda. So I get requests at the last minute. That is not fair to me, and it's not fair to Ebenezer, our community manager, who is by himself now because we lost 2 staff members. That being said, I don't have much to report other than I've been doing extensive outreach with cultural entities of the community, including the Dominican Writers Association, the Word Up Bookstore, the Association of Dominican Classical Artists, the Japanese Society, and the Art Deco Society of New York, all to have some invitations so that they can do some programming that pertains to our beautiful neighborhood. So that's in the works. As soon as I get them on the agenda, hopefully they'll come and do a presentation. Hello, welcome. Help yourself to an agenda and please sign in. With that said, I'm going to start with Noma, Media Leiva Gutierrez. I'm sorry. We're going to start with program updates. I'm so sorry. You have your own separate agenda item. So we're going to go to our regular community partners so that they can update us on programming. And I'm going to start with Corey Hansen from the New York Restoration Project.
Hi, thank you so much.
And it's Corey. So we believe in the democratic use of time. All of my program updates, 2 minutes, presentation, 5 minutes, and then questions and concerns from the public during new business, 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, but we also allow time for questions with regards to programming. So Corey, take it away.
Great. I'll be as quick and brief as possible. I don't have a lot of updates this time. We just completed earlier at Sherman Creek Park our Fall Fest, which is a yearly event that saw hundreds of people attend. It's very successful. There was a make your own honey station. It was a great way for students and young and old people alike to experience some urban agriculture that NYRP has to offer. We are moving along really well with our forest restoration and Highbridge, where we are getting volunteers to plant trees over in Highbridge Park. That's concluding very soon because we're approaching the end of the season for that, but that will hopefully continue into the next year. And then I did have one other quick brief update to give regarding the living shoreline work that we're doing over at Sherman Creek Park over in the Harlem River, that we did complete our 3rd inlet advisory council meeting. That went very well. Everything is moving along very nicely in terms of us putting together a conceptual design. And we have a really good partnership going on with the Parks Department right now that's continuing. And we are going to make an announcement about when the 4th inlet advisory meeting will be very soon. So keep an eye out for that. Otherwise, that's it for me. Any questions, I'll be happy to field.
Do we have any questions for the New York Restoration Project? Online?
Oh, I do. What's the Fall Fest? What was the Fall Fest date?
Let me pull that for you. Oh, it was October 3rd. It was October. Let me get it right now. It was a Friday. Boo boo. I believe the 27th, October 27th.
Thank you.
Okay, for minutes purposes. Any questions for the New York Restoration Project? It's fabulous. They welcomed me and we went on a walk and understood the complexities of our waterfront. I always think of the Heights as a Mesopotamia, a land between 2 rivers. So thank you so much, Corey, for that. We don't have other organizations other than our community partner. So Jenna, are you there to provide updates with parks programmings, or do you want to wait until your report?
Hi there, everybody. Hello, Chair. Yes, I'd love to give some event stuff right now. I'll be quick. Thank you. We just had our Battle of Fort Washington on Sunday. It was spectacular, beautiful day. We look forward to next year. This coming Saturday, we have the Fall Mushroom Walk with Paul Sadowski at Inwood Hill Park. We have the Urban Park Rangers with a Highbridge Water Tower Tour. This is very popular. People ask for this a lot. That's at 1 o'clock on Saturday. You can look at our website, NYC Parks, to look for events, just as a reminder, by day or by park. On Sunday, we have fall bulb planting at the Jacob Javits Playground, part of Fort Tryon Park. We're meeting at the Javits Playground at 10 a.m. to plant bulbs. We also have our friend Michael Palma, a great steward down at Montefiore Park and a Washington Heights resident. He is doing nature photography at Inwood Hill Park on Sunday, meeting at the Payson entrance, just north of Dyckman. We also have Urban Park Rangers on Sunday doing a Native American Heritage Month event, Lenape Harvest and History, Sunday at 1 o'clock. And then next Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, the Urban Park Rangers are doing a post-Thanksgiving Northern Manhattan Park super hike. I can, if anyone has has questions about the events, I'll drop my email in the chat now and look forward to reporting later. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Oh, my goodness.
Madam Chair.
Okay, so I have any questions for Parks? No questions? Okay, these are the only two program updates that we have. Now, like I said, I have somebody by the name of Allison Landy. Are you also from, can you please identify from what organization are you from?
Hi, yes, I'm actually with Avatar and the new dog.
Oh, okay,
proposal.
there you are
There.
on the agenda, right? That's my understanding. Thank you. Okay, sorry
thank you.
about that.
No, thank you for
Okay.
checking in.
So let's see, I'm just managing the chat also. Thank you. So yes. Oh, wait a minute. I have to make Catherine, how do I make people a panelist here? This is very,
Yeah, we should be able to.
yeah.
Did you go by her name?
Oh, okay, there you go.
And then,
So we also, now we're gonna move on to Catherine Hughes. Okay, wait a minute. How do I do it? I have to
so-
promote her to panelist.
So, where's her name?
There is her name right here. Open that chat.
Okay, so you should be able to click on her name, and you should be able to scroll that asks you, lets you invite her to panels.
It's not doing that.
Let's see if I can do it on mine.
Yeah, please. We're joined by Danny Bonilla, one of our local artists and also chair member. Committee member. Catherine, we're trying to elevate you to panelist. So if you can just be patient with us. Were you able to do it,
It's
Alexis?
not letting me do it.
Let's see.
Trying to promote her to panel. Help your old lady.
Apologies for the delay. We're still nativing with the technology. See, I'm
Oh, she's
clicking on
not
her
here.
name and it's not
Yeah,
happening.
but she's not showing up on my view. Let me do this, because if attendees. Let's try this again. View. Let's see if it's showing me.
Is Ebenezer in the other room?
It's just letting me click on chat. It's not letting me promote her at all.
Yeah, it's not letting me do it at all.
Can you ask her to, can you lower your hands? Ask her to lower her hand.
Who?
Catherine, maybe that is an issue. I don't know.
No, let's see, I think, yeah.
Right, because it should be.
Can
see
you
here?
do me,
You should be able to click on this thing, but it's not showing up for her.
yeah, the thing is that, yeah. Maybe here. She's an attendees, Danny. Thank you so much
Yeah.
and thank you for your patience.
Yeah, there, okay, allowed. So
No, well, we want to
then go
elevate
to that
her,
third- See that, the thing with the three dots?
the three dots. Okay, there you go. There you go. All
We
right.
get there. We
No,
don't
no,
say
the
how.
three, oh, okay, there you go. All right, Catherine, sorry for the delay. Feel free to give us an update on the mansion, and then if you can just stay through the end of the meeting, we're going to allow questions during new business, okay?
I would have to do it over there.
You have to unmute yourself.
I would have to do it over there.
Well, I think we promoted her. panel.
All right. Thank you so much for going through all that. We have at the Morris Jamil Mansion tomorrow evening a virtual parlor chat that is free. Anyone can register, go to our website and look at programs and events. And it is with Ramin Ganshram, who is going to be talking about life below stairs at the mansion. This is a new exhibit that we just opened on Saturday, looking at the lives of the people who worked in the mansion, those who were enslaved, as well as those who were indentured, or in fact, those who were free. And it is a permanent exhibit and a permanent reinterpretation of our 18th century kitchen. So please come on down and check that out. We also have holiday Saturdays happening throughout December and Family Day happening on December 9th. People can come and do our activities, and that is all free. So please do come and check us out at the Morris Jamil Mansion, and I will hang out for our discussion in a little bit.
Catherine, what is the, you said the December, what are the holiday days, what are you doing?
Holiday days, we're going to be doing activities each Saturday of December.
I'm sorry, what activities for what?
We're going to be doing holiday related activities on all the Saturdays. So throughout December, holiday Saturdays, I think you don't want me to go through the activities.
No, I just wanted to know what it was.
So those will be happening, and that's all part of the experience of coming to the museum. And we have Marjorie Elliott playing on the second or third Saturday of the month, but she does that every month now. Parlor Entertainment has been with us each month. And that's all I have.
Okay, do we have any questions for Catherine other than the issues that we will be addressing tonight? These questions relating to programming. Yes.
Catherine, I was wondering how you promote your events to the community. I know I'm there every day at the mansion, and I rarely know about any of the events.
We have everything on our website, and we do it on community calendars. So the Patch, Heights, we put out the calendar events. We also send out, you can get on our email list, and we send out a monthly email that gives you all of our events for the month. That's a really easy way.
Yeah, well, Catherine, this is just as a note, this is a very paper community. And I think sometimes if flyers were made or handed out or distributed in the community, that would be helpful.
It might be helpful to know where we would put the flyers. Like,
well, there's
where
the library, school,
okay, the
churches.
library would be a great idea. We can try to talk with them about that.
Rock on.
Okay. Any other questions for Catherine?
Can someone read Carrie's question that appeared?
Oh, absolutely. So there is a question. Yes, let's see. Let me go. All right. So we have a question in the chat. Will the virtual parlor chat address the enslavement as the colonialist home despite barely any mention of the Phillips family's active role in enslavement in the exhibition panels that you unveiled at the opening Saturday? That was deeply disappointed, or direct community outreach to neighbors?
Well, we have we talk about slavery in the exhibit, and Ramin, who was our speaker on at the program on Saturday when we had a reception for the opening, talked about the enslavement of people to build the house, to work the house. The Phillips family is through Mary Morris. She was a Phillips. And so the money that was used to build the house was definitely through the enslavement of people. That's how the family made their money. So the Morrises benefited greatly by that.
Thank you. Any other questions for Catherine? Let me just make sure that I've addressed, that I've read out, make sure that, not in the chat. All right. Sorry, I'm not a very good multitasker, so I need pause to make sure that I've addressed everybody's concerns. So that being said, Leslie, can you clarify if you're presenting or updating on programs? Because in that case, then we will have to adopt the agenda. I understand, yes, I did respond to you, but hopefully we'll tweak it a little bit better. Leslie, are you doing a program update or a presentation?
I thought I was presenting.
Okay, so
But
in,
I'm flexible, whatever works best. I just need like 3 minutes.
oh, 3 minutes. Okay, that's fine. Do we need to vote on the adoption of the agenda if we want to add a last minute item? That was my fault. She did email within the time frame. So, okay, all right. So I don't have my parliamentarian here, so and I'm still getting used to that process. So, Leslie, this is a presentation, not a program update, yes? You're muted.
Correct?
Yeah.
Correct. Yes.
Correct. Okay. So I'll add you at the end of all of the presentation and with my apologies. Is that okay?
Yes. Thank you.
For your flexibility. What's your organization again, Leslie?
Rocky's Dog Run at West 165th Street and Riverside Drive.
And this is different than so we have 2 dog run presentations tonight.
Yes. Apparently the other one, they were no-shows last time.
Okay. Okay, so I have put my email in the chat. I hope that's addressed to everybody. So if you want to get on the agenda, you can always email me. However, it has to be by the 3rd Thursday of every month to ensure fairness and to ensure that our meetings don't run over 2 hours, 2.5 hours, because we all have our day jobs and live very, very busy lives. And we would love to include everybody, but in fairness, we just want to have a decent timeline. But Leslie, again, my apologies. That was my fault. So we're going to start with New York's Parks report. This is separate from our programming updates. Jenna, and I understand also that, is this the same presentation as Steven? He's not here today.
Yeah, Stephen is signing on shortly. Do you want me to give my report and then he'll follow me, or how would you? Okay.
Oh, please, yeah.
Okay, hello, thank you. Hello, everybody. Hi, Alexis and Luana. Let me see here. Let me close this and go over here. So my colleague Sunny just asked me if I could report on coyotes. We are seeing a rising number of coyotes. Confirmed sightings in Northern Manhattan parks show this continued presence of their residing in Northern Manhattan. So just a couple of things with daylight savings time and earlier sunsets, the sightings might increase. They are more active as it gets darker, dusk on. We have no reason to believe that coyotes are unhealthy or posing a threat to us. Just some reminders to everyone listening and to be shared. Residents, citizens, please do not feed them indirectly or directly. We have a big problem with this happening, for instance, around Bennett Park with someone feeding birds, but she's actually feeding rats and other rodents. So please do not feed any animals nor leave any food in any parks. Be mindful too of your waste disposal, making sure that it's as closed and contained in garbage containers as possible. If you see them, stay from a distance, protect your pets, make sure your dogs are on leash. Dogs should always be on leashes. Your cats ideally are indoors, and just keep them wary of you. So if you are approached, make sure that you wave your arms and make loud noises. So please let me know if you have any questions about that. I can share the link I'll put the link that Sunny shared with me and share it with all of you. Big announcement from us, everybody, is that we have an acting borough commissioner now. The good news for us is he's worked in parks over 30 years. He is currently our chief of operations, Paul Demore. He's been our chief for many years in Manhattan, knows it inside and out. A very great guy. He is our acting commissioner because Anthony Perez, our commissioner for the past 14 months, has become the DOT Bronx commissioner. So again, if anybody wants more information about that, when I finish here, I'll drop my email in the chat. One other item about animals to share, raccoons. We are seeing a number of raccoons who are tested and positive for distemper. You might see some raccoons that seem like they are drunkenly moving around. That is not a danger to humans. Their distemper, it's not catchable, but it is a danger to dogs. So again, this is another reason we implore dog owners, please keep your dogs on leashes. That's the law in our parks, except for a dog run. And there are many reasons for that, including the other animals that you might encounter in the parks. Other than that, some trees. We just had some trees put in by our tree unit in Highbridge Park and J Hood. We're working with them for some more trees to come in shortly, waiting on that report. And that is it, except for Chair, I'll email you for a presentation next month to give more information. Our Let's Green initiative. Our former Northern Manhattan Administrator, Jennifer Hoppe, our beloved Jennifer, she is leading the charge on a new volunteer initiative for parks called Let's Green Initiative. I will also drop that link in the chat, and I will ask to present on that next month. It's our big volunteer initiative as we head into spring. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Jana. Can you just explain what exactly is distemper? That's not rabies. Is that like a fancy word for rabies?
No.
What does that entail? That sounds like, I think I'm distempered a bit sometimes. I'm just kidding.
Okay. All right. This is what I have. I can get the scientific explanation, but Richard Simon in our wildlife unit shared this. Urban park rangers have recently collected numerous sick raccoons in Northern Manhattan. They have tested positive for canine distemper virus. Localized outbreaks of CDV are not uncommon in the New York raccoon population. It poses no risk to humans. Dogs are susceptible. It is not rabies. We are attaching a talking points document in case you want more information about CDV. So I'll share that with the committee. Is that good, Luana?
Yeah, that's good. And
Okay.
then what are we to do if we see a coyote? Just leave it alone. Don't report it. Don't call anybody. Don't keep them as pets.
You feel free if you want to share your sighting. You can email me, but it's not necessary. Basically, as I read, the general gist is don't have food, no loose dogs, stay away. If for any reason the coyote addresses you, comes close, wave your arms and make a loud noise. But generally, coyotes will not.
I'm running. Sorry. Thank you, Jana. We have one question in the chat on the topic of park garbage. Trash and recycling containers have been taken from around Fort Tryon Park, around Margaret Corbin Circle. Yeah, and have been placed into the road. What is the reason of this, and will they be placed back?
Yes, I'm so glad. Thank you for that question. That is not parks doing that. That is rogue behavior by local citizens who are very frustrated, as are we, by the drag racing that has been happening around the Margaret Corbin Circle. So rogue actions have been taking place by local individuals to drag all of our garbage cans into the circle. We are now in danger of losing our garbage cans to sanitation because of this activity. It is not the answer. We are actually, as I reported last month, working on a very permanent answer. But because of the city's budget freeze and crisis, DOT has been slowed down in what they can do to implement the design that we had planned together with them and MTA and NYPD for the circle. So I will report on that as we can move it forward. But we really, really ask the local people to stop dragging those garbage cans into the circle. What's going to happen, as I said, is that sanitation is going to take them from us, or we're going to have to put them in our cottage yard and hide them so that we don't lose garbage cans and we don't see. And if we do have to do that, we're afraid that we're going to see a lot more garbage in Fort Tryon Park and in the circle.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that. Also, I encourage the community to also bring their concerns regarding the drag racing to public safety as well as transportation. That way we can all collaborate as a community board. Thank you for joining our lead. We have moved from programming announcements. So if you do have a program announcement, please put it in the chat because we are now on item 4 on the agenda.
And Chair, just a note that Stephen Forte from Parks has joined.
All right, he's right after
New Yorkers.
New Yorkers for Parks and Presentation after Charisse Palomino. All right, thank you. Good evening, Steve. Okay, so our next presentation, if we don't have any more questions, let me just make sure. Our next presentation is now and Angelina Ramirez and Estefania Masada from United Palace, one of the crown jewels of Washington Heights, one of the last standing theaters. What is that? That's not Gilded Age. That's like 1930s, right? 1930s, one of my favorites. So take it away, Angelina, Stefania, welcome.
Thank you so much. So yes, my name is Angelina Ramirez. Some of you may know me. I used to be the executive director of the Business Improvement District a long while ago. I left and now I have a firm, the Amblin Group, mostly focusing on marketing, communications, and outreach, which is why United Palace asked me to help them with community outreach. And so I also have here Estefania, who is their new community liaison, specifically in the role of doing outreach and partnering with and working with the community and local stakeholders. So I have a presentation. It's only like 6 pages long that I wanted to quickly review. It does give a little history for those that don't know about, and I love the way you put it, our crown jewel. So
one of our crown jewels.
One of our crown jewels. Yes, absolutely. Oh, would I be able? Can I share my screen?
You should be able to. If you're a panelist, then yes.
Says host disabled participant screen sharing. Interesting.
Oh, I'm still learning how to navigate this thing.
Circle thing.
Right here?
Yeah.
Okay.
It should say allow.
You are a co-host now. Perfect. Okay, so I will share my screen.
Well, thank you, Danny. Danny Bonilla.
Yeah, I don't know why.
To the rescue.
Why are you trying?
Thank you.
right.
You know what I mean.
Can you see my my screen, United Palace, the presentation?
Yes, we can.
Okay, wonderful. So your next, hold on, I have this bar, and your next unforgettable experience is about to begin.
All
So
right.
an overview, right? For those of you that don't know, I mean, United Palace has been around for almost a century. It'll be 100 years old in 1930. So I'm sorry, in 2000, gosh, 1930.
I did the same thing earlier.
2030, right? So we're really excited. You know, it is a spectacular history with a lot of history and a lot of different DNA, which, you know, today and moving forward, we will always respect and keep a part of everything that we do. But it is a huge building. You know, sometimes the exterior doesn't necessarily represent the interior, so that when you go in, you see this beauty and this marvel. It's on Broadway, right? And it goes from 175 to 176. For those of you that don't know, we recently had the Tonys there. So we are, you know, obviously there's a huge love of the United Palace here in Uptown Manhattan. And, you know, I won't go into reading the mission, the vision, or the values, but the two things that I want to really focus on are, number one, community, and number two, inspiration. I'll start with inspiration just because, but you just walking into United Palace, you get inspired, not only from the beauty of the architecture to the history, to obviously all the arts and culture that happens there. And that's something that is our, you know, our word that we utilize in practically every other sentence. We are inspired, and we want people to be inspired with the United Palace and with every interaction with United Palace. The other word that I want to use is community. And you know, let's just say that historically the United Palace maybe has not been the best at working with community, but that is something that we are here working on and wanting to change. And obviously that goes not only with programming, but also with opportunities to utilize the space. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. I am happy to share this presentation with Ebenezer so that if anybody wants to reference it in the future, we're happy to share. But again, the goal really here is to be more community oriented. That is the bottom line. So, you know, if you look at United Palace's timeline, especially when it comes to the different entities that it's been, it's a little convoluted. The important thing to note today is that we have 3 entities. United Palace of Cultural Arts, which is our nonprofit, right? A lot of our programming goes, you know, through that entity. United Palace Events, which is our for-profit that really is under the cultural arts entity. And then we have something called United Palace of Spiritual Arts. And the reason is because for many years, since 1969, right, since Reverend Ike purchased the building, it has been a spiritual institution of sorts, right, a religious entity. And we are in the process of changing that. And hopefully in 2024, we'll see this. We will be, really proud to continue working on as we move forward. But for now, the important thing is that these are the 3 entities that currently exist. So we'll talk about United Palace Cultural Arts, and that's a lot of, as I said, a lot of our cultural programming. Some of you may know Movies at the Palace with Lin-Manuel Miranda. Some of you might know Crack-a-Lack in classical music. And of course, we have other community arts and Latin arts events that take place. Some of them are free. Some of them are very low cost. But essentially, this is curated by United Palace and their partners. And it's everything, again, to bridge, as the first sentence states, community with the palace. And so this is something that we have been doing, and we want to ramp up even more so, again, with this type of community outreach that we are doing. So, at the last page will be Estefania's information, her email. She'll also put it in the chat so that if you want for those of you that want the opportunity to meet with United Palace, with Mike Fiddleson, who is the executive director, or with Estefania to talk about opportunities to work together, this is why we're here, right? We want to very clearly make it known that we are here to work with community and do more community programming. So this is, as I said, more of the nature of the type of business. This is more of our for-profit, but any concert that you see happening at United Palace, film shoots, for those of you that know, Only Murders in the Building, was filmed there. Graduations, high-profile events like the Emmys, and even corporate events. So this is the way really that United Palace obtains funds to manage the palace, right? Again, we are a nonprofit, but these types of activities is really what helps fund the maintenance of this huge building and everything that goes along with this building, from capital improvements to electricity to payroll to, again, managing a building such as that, as well as the programming.
Angelina, I'm
Yes.
going to have to respectfully ask you to wrap it up, please, because
Yep.
your 5 minutes are up.
Not a problem. So United Palace Spiritual Arts, like I said, sunsetting next year. We still will have programming that is spiritually oriented. But again, this particular entity will not exist starting next year. And that's really it. Just, again, this is the opportunity for us to do outreach. We've been talking to other stakeholders, elected officials, universities, other types of corporate entities, just nonprofits, letting everyone know about our desire to work more closely with community. And that's it.
Wonderful presentation. Thank you so much. Any questions for Angelina or Estefania?
No, I put my name in the chat, so if you could send me that presentation, that would be great. I put my email in the chat.
Contact information is in the chat. We also have Mercedes Negrin from Council Member Carmen de la Rosa also listening in. Just wanted to acknowledge that. Any questions for Angelina or Estefania? Any questions from the public present? Any questions from the online community? Okay, then. Thank you so very much. We have many crown jewels in this fabulous neighborhood of ours. So now we're going to have a presentation by Nidia Leiva Gutierrez from the Northern Manhattan Arts Alliance.
Hi, everybody. My name is Nidia Leiva Gutierrez, and I'm the Executive Director of the Northern Manhattan Arts Alliance. And it's very apropos that we follow the United Palace, because if they are one of the crown jewels, we are a gem, I think, in their crown. We actually occupy the 2nd floor. We're in the annex of this beautiful historic palace. And I think that, that's a testament to this idea that the United Palace is working with community. We are a nonprofit, and our job is to promote, to cultivate, and to support artists and arts organizations in West Harlem, in Washington Heights, and in Inwood. And we do this in a variety of ways. And our move to the United Palace 2 years ago allowed us acquire 4 beautiful studios.
Hello, Media?
On that.
Yeah, you're breaking up, Media. I think that your Wi-Fi might be spotty.
Fulfilling. Well, so
Shouldn't hear us.
oh gosh, okay. Let me not to give you a tour, but let me move. Okay.
Yes.
All right. I'm just gonna travel. I know my seconds are ticking, so I'll go quickly. I don't know what we've heard, but we are on the 2nd floor of the United Palace. As I said before, our move 2 years ago gave us the opportunity to acquire 4 studio spaces, which is really important to us in fulfilling our mission because we have space. We have beautiful space for artists working in a variety of disciplines, and we make that space available and affordable. And so we really are a part of the community arts scene in the neighborhood. We also work with United Palace. We now have our own gallery space where we have exhibitions. We've had 4 exhibitions already in our space in the span of a year, which we're really, really excited about. And what I wanted to also introduce Michelle Orsi Gordon, who is our executive coordinator, who's here with us tonight, who can give you some of our latest kind of programs and information, technical information, so that you can come visit us. Please come visit us. Our galleries are free. They're open to the public. And we're really there to support artists and arts organizations. Michelle, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Neria. This feels like old times when we were doing our remote programming. So, hi, my name is Michelle Orsi Gordon. I am the executive coordinator at NOMA. Is it possible for me to share my screen? Because that actually says we're have
see if you can do that now.
Okay, saying it's disabled, but I'll just talk while you're trying to get that remedied. So the exhibit we have up right now, it's open gallery hours are Saturdays and Tuesdays from 1 to 5 p.m. and it's free and open to the public. We encourage, if you have a group of seniors, of students, of any kind of group that would benefit from seeing art in the community, please contact us and you can make an appointment and get a tour of this space. So actually these are our studio spaces, which we're very, very happy to be sharing with the community. So this is actually Danny again.
Yep.
So this is our current exhibit. It spans, it's called Hispanic Heritage in the Heights, and it spans many different types of art, artists from many different areas of the diaspora, and we really want to get people to visit. If you just also the next thing coming up is a collaboration we did with Art on the Avenue and the Inwood Inwood Merchants Association. And so this is going to be in vacant storefronts all throughout Inwood. So take a look at the 15th of November. They're posting all of the locations and there's going to be an opening. There are many participating artists. So we're always happy to be promoting and we have a membership program that we're vitalizing currently. Two of our grantees have exhibits or events coming up. One of them is Reynaldo, who has a dance performance at it's at the Riverside Theater that's coming up this weekend. And we're happy to support that. And our grantee Tammy Tyree is having downtown a colored silk. It's a story of, it's a one-woman show. It's a story of the seamstress who was a formerly enslaved person and made Mary Todd Lincoln's wardrobe. And it's so I encourage you to support our artists, to visit them, visit us, follow us. And if you have any events, to please share them with us, because we do have an online calendar and we have a weekly newsletter. So you can add your event to our calendar, and we're very happy to promote it, to give you a boost on social media, to that's kind of part of our mission to keep the arts
with it.
Yeah. All right. So
Michelle, Michelle, respectfully, your time is up. So ask you to wrap it up, but also if you can put your contact information in the chat for everybody to see, that'll be great. And if you can also say it out loud, because we have 2 computers and the public doesn't necessarily have access to the chat. I do. So if you can do that and I'll repeat it out loud, that'll be great. While you do that, it's very exciting to see the soundtrack of my childhood featured in NOMA, which is La Fania Stars, and also the legacy of seamstresses, because my mom was a factory worker, a piecework.
That's one of the installations in our current exhibit is about that piecework.
Okay, for those of you, the information is info, INFO, at NOMA, NOMAA, NYC.org. Thank you. Any questions for NOMA? That was such a colorful presentation. I don't see any questions from the public present. Online community questions? Okay, then we're really good on time. That's why I'm allowing a little bit, sneaking in a couple of minutes for people to wrap up their presentations. The next presentation is Charisse Palomino, New Yorkers for Parks. Now, I don't see Charisse. Is she present or online? Let me just do a quick scan. So Michelle Palomino is not here. Going once. Going twice. I don't see the hands. I just want to make sure that I'm being fair and that we're not overlooking this person. Okay, then. So Steven, you are, oh, hello, you're not Steven.
Yes, I'm here. Yeah, I'm in the background the whole time.
Okay, so we have a presentation on forest restoration in Fort Washington Park, natural resources and capital design and construction. Do you have a presentation? Because we need to make you a co-host.
Yes, I think I was a panelist when I was entered, but I might need to still be given permission.
Yeah, I think in order for you to share, you need to be made a co-host. Okay, see if you can do that.
Okay. Cool. All right. Awesome.
What?
Yeah, admin now.
Yeah, I've been an admin, I think. Yeah. Yes, thank you.
This?
Hi, Ebenezer. Thank you for everything. Okay, yes, we can see it. We can see it.
Cool. And just so I'm clear on time as well. So I know that we requested 15 minutes. We were only given 5. With the person who just dropped out, am I good till about 7:30?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we can allow, because it's a city agency, so we can allow for. I wasn't sure how many minutes. So and next time email me when I fix the agenda or arrange for the agenda. I can distribute the time evenly, but we're good on time. So yeah.
Okay.
And this is a capital project. The only thing is that, I'm sorry, what's your name again? I'm sorry.
So sorry, Stephen Forte. I was going to introduce myself, but go ahead.
Oh, Stephen Forte. Oh, you know who? I was expecting another Simon. I was expecting Stephen Simon. Okay. So Stephen. So sorry. You're sounding a little muffled. So I don't know what you can do on your end to maybe make sure, because I've increased the volume to the max on my computer, but you're coming through a bit muffled.
Interesting. Let me try and move a little bit. Is that better or still the same?
How do we feel about that? I've maxed out the volume.
Yeah, I can also try muting you guys too. Let me try that.
Try what? Okay, we're just going to ask you to project a little bit more.
Okay, I'll scream. So cool. So yeah, my name is Stephen Forte. I am a forester with New York City Parks. I'm going to be the project manager / forester on the contract MG619MA, which takes place in both Riverside Park and Fort Washington Park. And the purpose of this project is for forest restoration. So this is kind of the overview of what I'm going to be going through. I'll go through these pretty quickly. A lot of these are just photos, so I can kind of just explain the photos as I go along. So this is the main project area here. So it is not a big area, at least in the Fort Washington section. It is mainly underneath the bridge here. If you ever take the bike path down here, it's pretty much all the upsloped area that you can't really see as much. But there is one trail that I will show in a later slide that actually goes through the area. But mostly it is, something that the public can admire from afar. So again, like I was saying, if you go through the bike path here, you'll see kind of what I'm talking about. So here is an invasive species called multiflora rose. It's very thorny, it's very bushy, and it hinders a lot of visibility into a site. And obviously we don't like it for biodiversity and native habitat purposes. So the main purpose of this project is to clear a lot of the site here and open it up a little bit. Remove some of those introduced species and plant some nice native ones and plant some trees because there's a lot of tree space to go around here. Again, here's in the winter, a lot of invasive vines as well. You can kind of just see them kind of dead scraggly. That's one of the drawbacks too, is that they catch a lot of debris, so a lot of trash that you see. And our sites is mainly taken in by these invasive vines just because it just wraps everything up. It just kind of creates a whole kind of like toilet bowl effect with all the garbage. Again, another photo there against the fence line as well. We're going to be cleaning that up. That's when you get into the trail here. It is quite nice in some areas, but like as you can see, it's very just jumbled in there. A lot of again, invasive vines here in the back, obstructing a lot of views, a lot of shrubs obstructing views. So again, we're going to clear this all out and have a before and after photo that we're going to hope to change it to. I will say the one cool part about this site is that there's an existing grassland habitat that the Riverside Park Conservancy actually put in here. We are not going to be touching this. As you can see, this is pretty pristine here. It has actually a rare and endangered sedge and some trees as well. So we're going to leave mainly this part here. As you can see, this is the goal here, at least in terms of our grassland restorations. As you go through, again, just more photos of what's there and all the introduced species that are obstructing the view. So here's that photo I was talking about. So again, I just want to make clear this is not going to obstruct anyone's view from the Hudson or out the Hudson. This is going to be in a spot where there's no existing trail right now, but just to give you an idea of all the introduced species that are here that are obstructing other native species and tree cover, tree canopy. So again, this is going to be the intended future condition. This photo is from our forest restoration framework. So this is like our goal of forest restoration is a great native canopy, great native understory, which is great for a lot of different reasons, which I'll get into. And here's an example just to give you an idea, an actual photo of what our restorations look like. So this is an Alley Pond Park. So this is a site that was covered by invasive vines as well. As you can see here, we cleared a lot of it out, planted some new trees. Looks kind of ugly right now with the seeding going on, but voila, in like 6 months time, when the spring comes, we have a whole planting site here for trees that you can see the baby trees that are growing in here. So it really, it's a beautiful work. I love doing it, but yeah, we're coming to Fort Washington Park, so we're gonna try and do the same thing here in some canopy pockets where you used to have some invasive vines and shrubs overgrowing and obstructing the views. A lot of woody debris is going to be cleared out and just kind of beautifying the site. Photo Valley problem. So scope of work, I kind of skipped through most of this. I kind of already detailed what we're going to be doing. Yeah, tree work, we have some removals of introduced species and trees, mainly going to be in the upper parts of the slope, not really going to be seen by the public. That's general removals like service garbage, like I said, on-site debris, woody debris, that's going to be cleared out. It's going to make the site more pleasant to look at from afar as well. And as you're going down that bike trail. Native species planting. So most of our plantings consist of 2-gallon containers, which is about the size of, if you can see my hand, about like yay big. You have 10-gallon containers, which tend to be around 6 to 10 feet tall. They're a little bit bigger. And those 3-inch caliper balm burlap trees, those are the street trees that you see planted. It's around that size, as well as some native shrubs as well for the understory. And then, of course, with the photo I showed before, we're also going to be seeding native herbaceous grasses, forbs, and wildflowers. That's going to really increase the biodiversity and health of the ecosystem and the understory. And I'll just touch on the quick impact of trails. This is the map that I was talking about before. This is the trail. If you're going down the bike path, if you make a left here, if you're going down the trail, it goes up a little bit and then it kind of just ends. That's kind of where the yellow line is there. I think that's a to be determined trail that we haven't quite made our way to yet. Again, it's the trails team, that's not me, but just to let you all know that that's the impact of the trails.
We're losing you, Stephen. Can you hear me? We lost you, like the last 5 seconds, we lost you, the sound. Can you hear?
That was me. My bad.
Oh, okay. Hi, Tracy. Stephen, can you repeat the last segment of the presentation that what you just said after the size of the containers?
I'm just talking about the last point.
Yeah, your sound is not coming in, Stephen. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm pretty much at the end of the presentation anyway. But yeah, that's minimal impact of trails. If there is trail closures,
No. Tracy, can you do a sound test, please? Just to make sure that it's not the owl.
Hello?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's your sound, Stephen. I just tested on another member, and I think something is wrong with your mic or your Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I'm pretty much at the end of the presentation anyway. That was most of the points that I wanted to hit on. Yeah, other than that.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Now we're hearing.
Interesting. Okay, so yeah, what I was saying just before is that minimal trail closures. If there is a trail closure, will be very communicative to the public. It will only be shut down for a few hours at a time, and it's mainly just these areas where you can kind of just snake into the forest a little bit, maybe a few hundred yards, and then it kind of ends. So it's not a trail that connects to anything necessarily, but if there is a trail closure, it's just because our contractor is going to be working near the trail, potentially with equipment like brush cutters or chainsaws. So we just want to make sure those areas are clear. But again, I don't expect any major trail closures for any long periods of time. Like I said, it would just be for maybe an hour or two throughout the day from time to time. And then just general site protection measures that we have as well. That's again, we can I can email this presentation as well. And I know we're short on time. But just some important notes for erosion control devices. We're going to be installing coir logs as well. As you know, that slope is pretty steep. So we just want to make sure that we're protecting against erosion there, because we are going to be clearing out a lot of debris. All work will be directly supervised by a consultant resident engineer. So basically someone who's acting as our project engineer on the ground. We'll be there every day with the contractor. So, any questions or anything that comes up, the contractor will not be acting unsupervised. We will have a representative there with them at all times. And that is pretty much all the major points here. And then the last point, like I said, existing on-site native plant species will be protected, as in that grassland that I showed you earlier. And that's about it. So I'm not sure I'm doing on time, but I have time for questions.
Yes, absolutely. Do we have any questions from the community present? So let me ask you something, Stephen. Would this require a resolution from the community board?
No, this is more just making you guys aware of what would be going on, because I know that our contractors with some of our equipment, like the chainsaws, can be pretty loud and people ask questions. So it's just more to keep you guys in the loop and make you guys aware of what's going to be going on.
Got it.
Other thing too, the project will last about 3 years. But again, most of the work is going to be in Riverside Park, so I don't anticipate a lot of time spent in Fort Washington in terms of duration of the whole year. But if you do see contractors and people working in Riverside Park and Fort Washington Park, those are our contractors.
And when will this start again? Can you remind us?
So this already started. So the contractor was actually at Fort Washington for the first time last week. And they will probably be there for the next 2 to 3 weeks, and then we'll take a little bit of a pause as winter comes along, and then they'll be there again in the spring, and then probably midsummer, and then in the fall for a few days at a time.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. I have a question. That invasive vine, is that the same vine that has taken over the South, starting in Baltimore? It has like a weird name, but it's enveloped. You go through the highway and has enveloped everything. Is that what we're talking about? Because I get very frightened that it might happen in New York, and I'm like, no, that cannot happen here. Yeah,
I mean, like this.
Thank you, Baxter. Kudzu. Kudzu that you're clearing. Please tell me that it's kudzu.
Yeah, so I don't think there's any kudzu here. I actually have one by my apartment, like this kudzu jungle. But kind of like with invasive vines, kind of like New York, many groups of people. There are many groups of invasive vines that come here and just invade our ecosystem. So we have porcelain berry, we have myelominute, we have Japanese honeysuckle, which is probably just a combination of what you're all seeing here in this photo. But I don't believe there's any kudzu at the site. No.
Good.
At least not that I've seen.
It's out of control in the South, though.
It's definitely very aggressive. Yeah.
Any other questions? Online community, is there a question? Let me just make sure. No questions. Okay, thank you so much, Stephen. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So now we have back-to-back dog run presentations. So we're going to start with Andrea. I hope I'm saying your last name correctly. Nwok.
Sorry, it's now Avatar and Allison Landy.
Okay, very good. All right. So, hello, Avatar Neil. Okay, so I'm going to make you, do you have a presentation to show us, or?
We do.
Okay. So I'm going to make you co-host so that you're able to share your screen with us. And you have 5 minutes.
Okay.
Right.
Do you want to start with introductions before I share the screen?
Yeah, well, first I just want to say hello to everybody. A couple of you guys know me, like hi Tracy McNeil, hi Alexis. My name is Avatar Neil. And this is
I'm Allison Landy, and we're your fellow neighbors.
And so we are the Larry Neal Dog Run, and we're going to start our presentation.
Oh, sorry, give us 1 second. Take your finger back.
Are you able to share?
Yes, sorry.
Oh, it's okay. I'll start the timer when the presentation is up. We're doing really good on time, so.
Thank you for being patient with us.
Of course. Well, thank you for being patient with me. As I step into this learning curve. I don't know how long I can milk it, but I just became chair, so I'm going to milk it for as long as I can.
Until January.
Until January. Wow.
Let's see here. All right, we should be good now. Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Okay. Does it look okay? Can you see it's loading? There we are.
There we are. Okay.
All right. So we are the Larry Neal Dog Run, clean streets, safe spaces, and a healthier New York. We named it Larry Neal Dog Run after the legendary African-American theater poet and Guggenheim Fellow. And it is this run is aimed to celebrate the spirit of unity, diversity, and introduce the fostering meaningful relationship within our neighborhood.
So our location that we're proposing is in Highbridge Park on 162nd and between 160 and 162nd. There is a plot of land there that we feel like is not utilized to its full potential. Here's an aerial satellite view of the area. There's a lot of green there. And here we had a little site mock-up design of just showing the different spaces. There is enough space there to propose a small dog park as well as a large dog park, which we hope to utilize because there is enough space there. This is a picture of the location, and you can see it's pretty big and massive and beautiful.
One unique feature of the Larry Neal Dog Run is its street level accessibility. Setting it apart from the nearby dog parks, this ensures that it is easily reachable to all community members and their furry friends.
We would like to be ADA compliant, and we think that where this location is really is crucial for that. It's right near bus stations. It's near a street that is accessible for the ADA. And so that's something that we definitely want to utilize with this space moving forward.
Yeah, our location is conveniently, situated near public transportation options, making it easy for both local residents and visitors to access dog runs without hassle. Our infrastructure required for the dog run, including lighting, is already in place, reducing the cost and effect needs to construct. What we want to do is we'd be interested in placing additional lighting heads to the existing lighting poles that would light up the park as well as light up the neighborhood, making it a safer community.
Yes. So this is a map of all of the dog runs in the area, and the green circles are for those people in the circle. It's about a 15-minute commute. So that means that 30 minutes total for people in the area walking to the dog park and walking back. And if you see the little dog paw right there, that is where our park would be. And there's not really a dog park close enough for working, people that are working that have dogs. There's nothing for our little furry friends for exercising in that sense. So then you go see how many people would be benefit from our dog park in that location. And also the only other separated dog run, when we say separated, again, we're meaning the different sizes, small dog park and large dog park. The only one closest is 135th in St. Nicholas Park dog run. So we would like to hopefully be the first in the area to have both a small and large dog park in the area. So we did a little bit of math. So please forgive us if it's a little bit off, but 1/3 of the population in New York City has a pet. Out of those, 6 out of the 11 are dogs. So in that green area that we showed you earlier, there's about 63,000 people in that area. And so if we are able to get this dog park up, we would serve almost 12,000 dogs.
The Larry Neal Dog Run aims to do more than just provide a space for dogs to play. We already fostered strong community relationships with our group and broader members. So I don't know how many of you guys own dogs, but having a dog just brings the people together that wouldn't ordinarily speak and communicate. And we've kind of fostered a family. So
there's a lot of benefits from that, and having a dog community in the area, advice, friendships, emergency assistance, cleanliness, supplies. It really, the dog community is strong and mighty. I don't have a dog. Why should I care?
Dogs exercise for longer periods of time and show less aggression. Community building increases property value and health and well-being.
And not only health and well-being for the animals, but for the dog owners as well, getting out there, exercising with your dog, being able to communicate with your neighbors.
And being support animals.
So we found this press release that we do feel like helps our cause. Allowing responsible dog owners to exercise their dogs is good for the community. Dog owners are community members who regularly visit parks and have a vested interest in keeping parks clean and safe. Their constant presence, especially at night when parks are less crowded, helps keep parks and the surrounding neighborhoods safe. So we agree with this, and we hope that you guys will aid us in creating this dog park. We do have some contact information, Instagram, as well as email, and we'd love to hear if anyone has any questions.
Or some questions in the chat.
Yeah, there were some questions in the chat. Can you do me a favor, Danny? Can you make the speakers visible again, like lift them? Okay, Naima, you had a couple of questions and you're a panelist and you were first in the chat. So why don't you ask those questions out loud and then I'll read the other questions that are in the chat.
Sure. Hi, good evening. Thank you so much for your presentation. So I have two questions. The first one, I was looking at the different dog runs that you presented. So my first question is, Rocky's dog run, how far is that from the proposed area? That's the first question. And the second question is, what is the space currently being used for? Not sure if you already covered that, but just so that I can be clear on how the space is being utilized right now.
Thank you for your question. Currently, it's a little bit over 15 minutes walk. So if you consider going there and back, it's about a 30-minute commute, which is a long time for anyone, that has a full-time job and needs to have their dog, get some exercise. It's not really feasible. And the dog isn't necessarily being stimulated on that walk as well. So it's
so it's 15 minutes to get there, and approximately what street is the Rockies on?
It's 165 and Riverside, correct?
65 and Riverside Drive.
Oh, 165 and Riverside Drive.
It's like on the other side. Yeah.
Yes, that's correct.
And your street is being proposed. Yours is being proposed on what street?
Edgecombe. And 160th between 162.
It's the opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it would be the only dog park on that east side.
Okay, got it. And then the second question is, what is the space currently being used for now?
It's just a plot of land and grass. It's not necessarily being utilized. Our experience with it as neighbors is there seems to be some rogue citizens, as used earlier, or a homeless population that sort of has set out camp there. We do have pictures of people camping out there. We've also seen a fair share of people partying and leaving trash there. So that type of thing.
And where we are proposing to have the dog run, it doesn't necessarily take away from people who are there on the weekends, who are having parties and stuff of that sort. It's nestled in the very corner where it's not even really being utilized. Nothing is being used. So It's just kind of a dormant space right now.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
Leslie, I'm sorry, can you clarify, are you here to talk about, Rocky's Done is already a dog park, right?
Yeah.
Because there's a question about, is Rocky's dog run accessible? And who knows the answer to that? Jana, do you know the answer to that?
Yes. Hi, everybody. I'm happy to talk a bit about the dog runs. Hello, Larry Neal dog run proposal.
But can we answer this particular question? Yeah.
Yes, that's where I was going. So yes, Rocky's Run is accessible.
All right.
I added that.
Sure, just 1 second. So full transparency for this presentation, we just want to make sure that you understand that the projects that were proposed by the community have already been submitted to ranking. So this proposal would go to next year's ranking unless we can discuss or devise a course of action that can fall into our elected officials, and they can prioritize it through what do you call it, through spending, through
Well, I think the way they should go is to and I believe the young lady who's here is Mercedes from Carmen De La Rosa's office.
Right.
So Mercedes, do you know, did participatory budget,
that's what I meant,
has they finished their talks about, or have they started? Because honestly, Avatar, I think the best way to go is participatory budgeting for this. because you have the force, you're a force in the community. People like you. They trust what you say. I know I do. And you know, I don't like many people. No, kidding aside, I think that you could really lobby to get this put on the ballot for participatory budgeting.
Okay.
I just
And how
wanted to
about-
make sure to clarify that it doesn't get included into the rankings until next year. And also, Leslie, that if you're doing a presentation, that goes for you as well. Yes, I'm sorry, Avatar. I interrupted you. Yes.
No, how about with something like a temporary dog park where just like be like fencing and a little section sort of that would separate large and small dogs? Would that be something that would be open for this year?
I think Janet can answer that question.
Yes, hi, thank you so much. No, so I just wanted to be clear about the dog run process. I'm happy to talk offline with you guys. I'll put my email in the chat. A proposal does not mean that it will happen. Even funded from participatory budgeting does not mean it will happen. There are a lot of different mechanisms that are required for dog runs, all led by great local people like you with ideas. So I'm happy to talk with you offline. I'll drop my email in the chat.
Oh, I would love that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And Avatar, you have my email. Can you email me the presentation?
Absolutely. We're doing it now.
So before we move to the next item on the agenda, do we have any other questions for this particular dog run?
Yeah.
Yes.
Avatar.
You have to speak up so that he can hear you.
Avatar.
Yes, yes. I recognize that voice.
The community, to the Parks and Recreation Committee. What do you want from this committee?
The most importantly, I like guidance because this is our first time actually stepping out and doing something like this.
Right.
So we would like to know what our next step is and what our next move is, and then a bunch of money.
And you have been provided that information with, like I said, unfortunately, the deadline to submit new projects for ranking has passed. So we can do either two routes. We can, not us, because we're just here to take, the presentation and have your request on the public record. And then Alexis has also given you some guidance and also answering the question that we cannot set up an impromptu dog run. And so we have provided with 3 forms of information for you.
Okay. Okay, that's excellent. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Other questions?
I want to pitch a little bit about the accessibility of Rocky's Dog Run from like anywhere east. Really the access points there's right on 165 and the side, and just kind of where that is, kind of the big kind of cliffs right there. You can access it from 165, and then I don't actually know what the next kind of street you can get down. 164, and then I guess, but then it kind of, there's a cliff there.
Okay.
Yeah, essentially it's Riverside right there is where it kind of merges in with the bridge. So I live on 165. I'm close to it, like geographically. Walking there, I have to walk down that really big hill, which like someone who needs accessibility and doesn't have like the mobility of a 25-year-old male like me, like that could be very tough. And also there is a free flowing right turn. So during rush hour hospital traffic, no way.
Okay.
There's no crosswalk. There's a light, but like it's still, you're crossing essentially a highway. The free flowing right turn is like they kind of just got to do whatever. You're kind of at the will of New York drivers at that point. And then also just the road itself, high-speed road area, very, very dark at night as well, which Leslie will touch on that need there. So just it's accessible, but yeah, it's street level, but like you're really asking a lot for. I don't go there with my dog because I'm having to cross. It's usually a highway.
So before I get any other comments or questions, we're going to focus on this dog run, right? Without necessarily thank you for that information. And it's on the record that this dog run, the Rocky Dog Run, it is accessible, but not in the most practical way.
Yeah.
But it's still there.
In
But
relation-
nonetheless, but in relation, this is why we also want to make a case for this dog run because of location, geography, and accessibility.
Yes.
Exactly,
Okay.
and that's what by accessibility, easy accessibility. It's street level, so there's literally you can get off the bus and walk right into the park.
Okay. Let's see. I have, okay, the lighting is, there's some comments in the chat about lighting. Did your dog run advocates participate in PB? Can you please specify what PB is?
Participatory budget.
Participatory budget. Well, the question would be no, right? That's already been answered, yes?
No, we haven't.
Yes. Let's see. Jana, you have another, Jana and then Tracy.
Thanks, Luana. Yeah, hi, real quickly, just another note in the favor of this proposal, because I think it's worthwhile to move this forward, is that we do have a current problem at Morris Jamel Mansion with people using Roger Morris Park as a dog run, which is not legal or allowable. So I just share that because that is another point in its favor.
Okay. So strong advocacy for this park. It alleviates the legal issues of having an illegal, quote unquote, dog run in another crown jewel of the Heights mansion. Okay, so now we have devised 3 possibilities. Any other questions or questions now with regards to this dog run? I think you had a question. Tracy, you had a question. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I was going to say, it was more of a comment in favor, which is that there's the Children's Adventure Park that's further down the block that is often used as a dog run when the children are there. So there's a lot of poop and things. So this would have a dog space. So there's actually a space for children and a space for dogs. So that might be something in favor for having this dog park, because very similar to Jana's point about the mansion.
Can Avatar
Thank you.
add that to the presentation? Those 2 points would be great to add to their presentation.
Thank you.
You had a
Feel better,
question.
Thanks.
I'm sorry. Yes, question?
Well, it was more like a comment that, well, she kind of added
Yeah.
to my comment that that dog park would actually serve the neighborhood, because I go to Rocky's dog run every morning with my dog, and like he said, unless you go around the park, and people directly down the block, you're gonna have to jet through the highway and onto the park. But even then, the park really isn't accessible because the bricks that are there, if anyone that's older tries to walk into it, or even myself who's had 3 knee surgeries, have to be very careful.
Okay.
It's actually not accessible. It's accessible if you can walk in.
Right.
But the dog park actually needs to be fixed. There's holes everywhere, there's no lights.
Well, we can talk about Rocky's dog run in the next section.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Because that we still have 2 more agenda items, and there's also a lot of anticipation with regards to the mansion. But thank you. Okay, so if there are no more questions,
I just do have one question. So
a question.
Yeah, Avatar. So just make sure, not question, just a statement. Make sure you email me. Okay, and I'll take you through a couple of different, ideas and processes.
You'll be getting an email before the end of this meeting.
Oh, don't get too excited. I'm not going to answer you till tomorrow.
Okay, Leslie is saying, please email me too. Okay, I hope everybody can see the chat. So the next item is another dog run. Leslie Henry, do you have a presentation for us so that I can make you a co-host? You need to unmute, Leslie. There you are.
Did. Okay. Yes, I have a presentation. I'm just also going to amend that a little bit based on what I just heard. Rising tide lifts all dogs. I don't know how that works, but I agree.
All right,
so I do have a slide I would show while I'm talking.
Okay. Go ahead. I'm going to start your time now.
Okay. So, like the others, my advocacy for animals has been my introduction to how our city government works. And I attended last month's Parks Committee meeting, and I was very impressed if not daunted by the amount of requests and great ideas for New Yorkers having, more quality of life with our neighborhood. So thanks to Jody Herson, who is a member of Community Board 12, we succeeded, and we've been advocating for our dog run for years and years and years, and getting lighting and such back in Mark Levine's time, and now with Sean Abreu. Sean Abreu, let me see if I can get this screen.
That's Abreu?
Screen. No, I'm going to see if I can get it. Share screen. All righty. Desktop. Okay. So this is just a taste of what the presentation was, but we had noticed, for example, as you walk up Riverside Drive, this is just as an indicator of how the quality level of the trash cans decreased the further north you go. So we have big bellies, and then we went to green cans with lids, and then we went to cans with no bottoms, is what we have at our dog run. Our dog run was started by a bunch of community activists and sort of later incorporated into a NYC Parks official dog run. So we presented and had a walking tour, which Jody really helped us with, on September 18th. And it was to really go over, oops, let me get this page. Let's just get to the crunch here. What we talked about was we have gotten to the point where maintenance is no longer even beneficial because the dog run surface has deteriorated to the point that we can't just keep shoveling chips in. All the volunteers, we have a very active community, and we do daily maintenance, and I understand that that's what the other group proposes too. We understand that we need to do sort of our own policing, so to speak, at least of maintaining safety for visitors. I also want to add that the dog run, as was mentioned, dogs walking with people is a great enhancement to public safety. And furthermore, we're right near the hospital. And we've noticed that hospital visitors, whether they're waiting for a loved one to get a procedure done or for whatever reason, they really enjoy visiting our dog run, often just for the benefit. Seeing dogs play is a joyful experience. And and I know when I moved here 12 years ago, a dog run proximity to where we moved was my number one requirement for when I moved here. So I live on 163rd, the dog run's on 165th, and that's what I wanted. So what we have asked for, and we've gotten some promises from Sean Abreu. I tried participatory budgeting last year or 2 cycles ago, and it wasn't clear to me what capital really is. And there's 2 different processes, which the other dog run people may or may not know. There's a mayor's process, which is operating type expenses. And then there's the city council PB process, which is capital. So based on what I've just heard, I mean, I think this shows that all of us sharing ideas and getting together is beneficial. And I've just recently started participating with the city, the community board. And I think I'm just going to end the sharing because I'm not going to go over our whole thing. But basically, I'll just sum up here, our fence, because of the additional fill that has happened over the course of 10 years, 15 years, our fence has shrunk to where it's basically 24 inches off the ground in some places. So that is not adequate. The surface has deteriorated. The wood chips are not the right grade. And we definitely need lighting. people have mentioned that intersection. Yes, that has issues. I personally did not feel that the DOT presentation that I saw in the Transportation Committee was really a upgrade, but they can only do what they can do. It may be better than nothing. And we also would like a run for smaller sized dogs, and we would like a water hookup. So, oops.
So Leslie, that's your time.
Okay. So can I just say that what I would like is guidance the same way. I suggest that we see if we can partner in some ways. How do we keep the community engaged? How do we get a promise from a city council person to turn into something else? How do we navigate participatory budgeting more successfully?
So this is really good because Jamila, who is let's see, Jamila, she's the scheduler for Carmen de la Rosa. November 20th, a large community meeting about participatory budgeting will take place, and CB12 will be informed as well. So mark your calendars for November 20th. We just got a response for Councilwoman de la Rosa's office. There's also some clarification that the leadership at Jumel Mansion does not call the police. They call the police for indecent exposure. There was a concern about that. And there's also a comment. Oh, Leslie, you put this comment that DOT has proposed a lighting change at the intersection. And the reason why I'm reading these comments is because the people who are present here, we have a lot of people in the audience, they cannot see the chat. So otherwise, I would have just let people just navigate the chat on their own. But because we have such a large participation from the community, I feel compelled to read these comments out loud for their information. Any questions for Leslie?
Leslie,
Yes.
are you going to the CB9 meetings since Abreu, that's his because if you were quoting about Sean Abreu, I thought that would be De La Rosa, Carmen's area. Leslie, you're muted.
No, Sean Abreu, his district absolute border is 165th Street. So our northern fence of the dog run is the line between Carmen de la Rosa and Sean Abreu's districts. We are in CB12. And De La Rosa, as I understand, has in her participatory budgeting process has a J. Hood Wright dog run upgrade involved or approved.
Okay, thank you for that. Any questions from the community present about this dog run? That's very nice to see the two dog runs in one night. I'm a cat person, but I don't, I was bitten by dogs as a child, but I don't hate them. I'm just like very cautious by 3 different friendly dogs. So I'm a little bit, yeah, but yes, important spaces. What about the online community? Do I have any questions from the online community? Okay, then I'm going to take that silence. We are doing very well on time. So with no further ado, there's no old business to discuss. Yes, hello? Who is this person? Who promoted this person?
*6.
I'm sorry, can you identify yourself?
Whoever's in phone number ending in 350.
Yeah. I did not promote this person. What's that? Yeah, I muted this person. Will the person with the phone number ending in 350 please identify yourself in the chat? Who promoted this person? Sometimes I get like super wary about spammers. Okay. No, they're there. I moved them to guest. Okay, so with no further ado, we have some public comment with regards to the Jumel Mansion and regarding the article that appeared in the New York Times We have Catherine Hughes representing the mansion. So in an effort so that we can, again, so we can end this meeting on time, at a decent time, I'm going to ask that you please have your statements ready, 3 minutes tops, and then questions for Catherine. Okay? So.
In the audience, with a lot of people in the neighborhood that live around the Morris.
You're gonna have to raise your voice.
Okay.
Yeah.
My name is Douglas Hartman. I've lived across the street from the Morris Jamel Mansion at 18 Jamel Terrace with my partner Michael Milani for the last 23 years. Thank you for allowing me and my neighbors to present to you our concerns regarding the extremely slow and inadequate response to the repairs and restoration needed at the Morris Jamel Mansion. We, as very concerned tax-paying citizens and neighbors, are outraged and can no longer sit by to watch another year of decay to continue. We cannot allow another of its once stately columns to rot and be removed and replaced by steel rods. Such structural issues are serious and should be addressed as an emergency. We will not accept another delay with no explanation for the restoration to begin. We've heard this sad excuse for years. It's embarrassing and disgraceful that the Morris Jamel Mansion has become a paint-peeling shambles. The widow's walk-in roof rotted and fell apart 2 years ago. I saw part of it hanging from the chimney and alerted MJM, who were unaware that it had fallen. We are submitting a timeline showing that little has happened since the first allocation of money in 2014. The allocated funds wait as the groups responsible for the project, the New York City Department of Parks and Recreation, Historic House Trust of New York City, and the Morris Jamel Mansion Inc. Board are seemingly unable to work together in a timely manner to accomplish, advocate for, or even begin this project. The mansion is crumbling daily into a further state of decay with each missed deadline.
I'm getting a comment to raise your voice,
All right.
come closer
Sorry.
here. Yeah.
Gina Belafonte's explosive New York Times article, published on October 29th, 2023, highlights the dire straits that Morris Jamel Mansion has fallen into. How can this happen to one of the most important and historically significant houses in America? Please see the folio with materials provided giving greater detail and context with any questions. We are formally lodging a complaint regarding the negligence and dereliction of duty and the lack of initiative to address acute issues with the New York City Department of Parks and Recreation, the Historic House Trust of New York City, and Morris Jamel Mansion Inc. Board to finalize plans, secure bids, and commence construction in a timely manner. We, the residents of the Jamel Terrace Neighborhood Association and Jamel Terrace Historic District, are dismayed by the lack of response to the urgent need to stop the decay of commencing the restoration project immediately. What we're talking about is we need to get this project going immediately, retard the delays and the excuses. There's not another excuse that we can hear. The money's been allocated, the plans have not been finalized, the relationship between the groups doesn't seem to happen. The communication's not working, so that nothing really happens. A lot of chatter, a lot of talk, but everything's always delayed. We have constant delays and no actual restoration has begun. This all started in 2014, many years ago. So that's why we're here to lodge our complaint. Right now.
Just in time, thank you for that. Full transparency, I am in touch. Oh, thank you for that. Full transparency, I am in touch with the new person in charge of the Historic House Trust, Meredith Horsford. I did work very closely with her when I volunteered for the Dyckman Farmhouse Museum. And my understanding is that there's also an event happening where your questions will be answered, or there will be some kind of an event where the community can gather and have these discussions. Full transparency, that's coming in the works. Catherine, would you like to respond?
Sure. We are absolutely as concerned, particularly concerned since it's my place of work, for the mansion's well-being. And that is always tantamount to the work that we are doing. And I completely understand and am sympathetic to everyone's frustration with the lack of visible activity around the restoration. So I have been at the mansion just a little over a year. And since I have arrived, the work that we have done is, not something visible. They have been probes throughout the house to understand what the deterioration is of the wood, so that we know, what is necessary in its restoration and what kind of wood it is, trying to use the proper material so that this restoration is better than the 1990 restoration that used some questionable methods. So we have been working with the team of the Parks Department, the Historic House Trust, and PACA, which is the architect, that is Page Ayers Cowley Architects, who have experience with historic restoration. So they have done the schematics based on the probes and the structural engineering reports that have been done. We finally got approval from the Landmarks Commission for the access ramp that we are going to have built onto the east side of the mansion. So that's going to be great. And we finally got funding this past year. Thank the Office of Borough President Levine for that, because we needed money to restore the bathroom to make that ADA accessible on the first floor. So the money has been gathering dust. We all know that it's been sitting there. It's not lost, but it is all there, and it is that allowed us to officially begin this year with the restoration project. Up until that time, the money had not all been officially there for the cost that it would be now. It started out a long time ago with a certain amount of money, and that changed over time. So we now have all the money. We are moving forward. I have meetings every other week with the Historic House Trust project manager and Parks Department and the architect's firm, as well as Wayne Benjamin, who I think is here in the meeting and has experience as an architect, and he is on our board. So we are moving forward, and we will actually, believe it or not, be breaking ground in 2024 to restore the outside. We will have a new roof. All of the rotten wood will be replaced. Everything will be painted. We will have an access ramp. We will have an ADA accessible bathroom. And this will be amazing, and it will restore this gorgeous house in Washington Heights and make it the place that everybody can be proud of and excited about. And so we hope that everybody can, continue to give us a little bit of grace as we move forward, but we are moving forward. And I know that, I've only been here a year. I understand this must be insane that it has taken so long, but it is moving forward, and things are happening.
There's a question in the chat. Thank you for that, Catherine. There's a question in the chat. Can you share your level of expertise in leading historic restoration projects of this scope or in any capacity, as well as the board members who have the expertise to guide the House and these agencies through this process seamlessly?
Well, I was executive director of a historic house museum in Indiana prior to coming to the present job, and we had many restoration projects that we had to do. So I was able to do a number of projects. I was dealing more with mortar in Indiana because it wasn't a wood house. So it was a different material, but restoration nonetheless. The expertise is on the part of particularly PACA, the team of architects that we have to have who will understand what is necessary for materials and for processes that will restore the house to its full glory. And it's a restoration. It's not changing the house in any way. It's really restoring the house.
And the Carrie, member of the online community, is asking, is your background in historic preservation?
No.
I don't know if Wayne is here. Wayne, if I thought he was a panelist, but while we get that sorted out, are there any other questions?
I have a question.
Yes, let's do the member of the community first.
So,
yeah.
It's hard to totally blame Ms. Hughes because she has been here a year. But the frustration of the community surrounding the building, watching it decay month by month, year by year, since 2014, has been palpable. We're all here. There are many, many more who are online who aren't here. And Ms. Hughes, when she arrived, to her benefit, she spoke to everyone and she gave exact timeline a year ago of when everything would start during 2023. Now, tonight, Ms. Hughes is talking about a vague, in the future, everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to happen. Everything will just be hunky-dory next year. What are the dates and why should we believe you now? Because now you're part of the process. And so why should we believe when the dates that were given last year just disappeared?
So do we have dates, Catherine?
We are talking about mid-2024. You know, this, I completely understand the frustration. You know, I anticipated when I got the job that we would have scaffolding around the house at this time. So, you know, that was my anticipation. Now, whose fault is it? You know, there's no one agency or thing to blame. It is, unfortunately, a very bureaucratic process. It takes the patience of Job to deal with it. And we are doing the work to really make a lot of noise to say, you can't, we have to get this done. We have to get the controller to sign it so that the office of OMB gets it. And so, you know, that's the kind of advocacy that we are trying to do so that we can ensure that this project happens in 2024. I cannot imagine a world that we would not have this project begin in 2024 with all that has led up to it and all that is now in place. We are about to sign, you know, the with a contractor so that we can get that schedule. I can't give you the schedule until we get the contractor signed because it's really that step hasn't happened. We need to get the contractor. And once we have the contractor, we will know the schedule. And believe you me, I will be sharing that with the community as soon as I can so that everybody can know that, you know, this is what's going to happen. We do want to be transparent. That I don't want anyone to feel that we are lying or not sharing what's happening. It is more just that all of the parts of it, they're not working against each other, but they're all difficult. So we are trying to make as much noise as we can to ensure that the mansion's future is solid. You know, this is what we are all about. That's what the organization's mission is. So we really, really want to make sure that this future will be able to happen.
So I'm going to go one question from the online community, and then I'm going to give you the opportunity because you already asked a question. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. All right. So I don't understand what HHT is.
Historic House Trust.
Oh, Historic House Trust. MJM announced in winter 2019 that sufficient monies, 2.3, were available to begin phase 1. Why has this continued to linger?
I think I kind of answered that. You know, the prices changed, everything changed with the pandemic. It was the money allotted was not enough. We could not start the project until all the money was there. It actually has started. I know people don't believe that because they don't see it, but we are officially in process now. The monies that were allotted were not enough. We did not have once the schematics were done and the pricing was, which all takes many months, once the pricing was set, we did not have enough money. We now have enough money, and that was what allowed us to start phase 1 of the project.
So your latest date was that the project was to begin in October of 2023, which we've just passed. Why was that date, that deadline not met?
Again, it is the issue of monies not being there, the Landmark Commission holding up the okay for the access ramp design. It was not one thing, it was a combination of things.
So what happens when people miss deadlines as part of their daily work at parks? There's no repercussions? It's been a decade.
I'm not sure I can answer that question.
How many bid sets
Let's give, excuse me, let's do one question at a time because I also have a lot of questions here and there are people waiting online. So the next person, please, and then we'll come back to you. And then remember, there should be an event happening to address these concerns. So I encourage you to attend that event. Yes.
Is there a specific type of contractor that's needed for the house to be restored?
Can you speak up, please?
Is there a specific type of contractor that would be needed for the house to be restored?
Yes, we have to have someone who has historic restoration in their experience.
Just historic restoration? Oh, sorry.
No, yeah, you can clarify, yeah. The thing is that I just want to avoid the back and forth. I want to give everybody a chance to voice their concerns or ask their questions.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So is it just historic restoration or is it because the house, like you said, prior that it's wood material?
Can you say it again? I'm sorry, I didn't hear all of that question.
Sorry. Is it because it's going to be a historic restoration or is it because, like you stated prior, that the house is built out of wood?
I guess it's both because wood is, of course, a material that needs a lot of restoration, and it is like, for a lot of the wood is old growth wood, so we want to be able to replace it with wood that is of a similar standard, so that we don't have two different kinds of wood sort of together that shouldn't be together. So those are sort of historical restoration questions that we have to face. It's just part of historic restoration.
Thank you. Okay, next person.
This is in regards to what Pam mentioned earlier. Like we're at the mansion like almost every day, and we don't like know about the events that happen there until we're there. We're not like the people that work in the mansion. They don't have to tell us. So this is kind of like a grievance. Like if you guys could just moving forward, like, hey guys, like we're doing an event tomorrow, or we're doing an event next weekend. Like we hope to see you there. You guys are part of the community. Because it kind of feels like there's like a separate, every time I like, yeah, a divide. Every time I go to these events, it's people I've never seen before in my life. So it's that, you know.
That's valid. It's extremely valid.
It's valid, but we're also, this portion is also to address the article in Times and then the restoration, the capital project, okay? But thank you. Has the board remained consistent since 2014? An online person is asking. And what steps will the mansion be taking to preserve the historic collection inside the house throughout the very invasive sounding construction process?
So in terms of the board,
it's in also the chat. Yeah, Catherine. Yeah.
So the board is we have some members who have been on for decades, and we have some that we have 3 new members who were just elected to the board this year. So it varies. We have 11 current board members.
Okay.
And sorry, so that's to the board. The question about what we will do, we will take steps to ensure that nothing inside the house is damaged. The material, we do not want to be closed during the restoration because it is an exterior restoration. And so we are going to try our hardest to stay open for visitors and schools during the restoration, except for minor closures when something like the roof is being replaced.
Okay. And another question is, where have been the preventative maintenance by parks, HHT, to keep the roof, the fire suppression system, much less the exterior, been the past 10 years? I cannot make this question, but is this a question for parks, I guess, that can be answered by both you, Catherine, and parks?
Well, I'm not sure about what the issue is with the fire suppression system. We have a fire suppression system, but I think it's evident that you know, we haven't had the level of maintenance over the years to maintain the house, and this has been, you know, a really big problem, not just with ours. There are 23 historic houses owned by the city that are in unfortunate states of disrepair. And so it is sort of, it's sort of a citywide problem that different places are dealing with. And, you know, they might have different problems, flood problems, roof problems, stonework, different things. So it's a lot of different problems that the park has not kept up with. The Parks Department has not been able to keep up with. And ultimately the city, I guess.
So I'm going to continue just specific questions before I hand the microphone to Jana, and then another question. Because we're at the 2-hour mark, I'm going to respectfully and kindly ask that you ask specific questions, because otherwise we're all concerned about this. It's brought tremendous attention to the community, but we also want to be productive in working together and in moving forward. So I think we can all agree that Catherine has answered the kinds of measures that the mansion will be taking once the work starts, to prevent the least amount of interruption to the house. But there's still a question about vibrations and light fixtures that would result from that. Before you answer that, Catherine, I want to give the floor to Jana because there was a question. Part of this question was directed to parks. So Jana?
Thank you, Luana. I thought it might be helpful just to break down the structure for everyone in case people don't know. So I, as the administrator of Northern Manhattan Parks, our team oversees Roger Morris Park. So we have nothing to do with the house, but Historic House Trust is a division of NYC Parks, as you noted, Luana, headed by Meredith, who formerly was at Dyckman Farmhouse. And that's a nonprofit that is under the auspices of NYC Parks to try to salvage important homes like Morris Jamel Mansion and find volunteers to join boards and help raise money and encourage other people to volunteer around these houses. So the passion is very strong and important. And Catherine, of course, is the executive director of the nonprofit, the Morris, that oversees the Morris Jamel Mansion itself. So those are the three entities. NYC Parks has two. My team, we oversee the park itself, have nothing to do with the house. And Historic House Trust, which is under the auspices of NYC Parks, works with Catherine to try to find support for historic homes.
Thank you, Jana. One more question? Yes.
Kind of related to the earlier question of the contractor. So is the issue with finding the contractor outside of the historical bit, is it the budget? Like, do you guys have a specific budget that you guys are trying to contain for a contractor, like, or stay within?
We have the money, we are fully funded, and we have the money to hire the right kind of contractor. So we don't have any problem there. That's all gonna happen. We are like on the cusp of that moment. I have a standing meeting on Friday mornings, and this Friday morning at 9 o'clock, I hope to hear that, you know, from the Parks Department and HHT that we are at that moment, that we're able to hire the contractor. So these are the things that are happening right now as we speak.
So the issue is just finding the current contractor.
We've identified contractors that we would work with. You have to be certified in a certain way in order to actually get a job like this.
In the essence of time and to be respectful of everybody's schedules, I'm going to read this one last question on the what?
I do have a question.
Yeah, yes. So we're going to go online community, Alexis, and then you had one more question. Okay. Can you address the comments of the board within the article? There has been tremendous staff turnover in the past years the past 2 years, many due to being unpaid fairly. So the comments of the board were startling. So do you want to address that comment, Catherine?
That's kind of a, I'm not sure what the question is on that.
Apparently, it seems that there were comments. Can you address the comments of the board within the article? There has been, I guess there was a comment or a question with regards to staffing or underpaid or purported underpaid staffing.
No.
Or the turnover.
In the article about that.
Okay.
The article quoted the board chair saying that that we were getting the money from public sources, and that was the responsibility of the board, was to get the money, raise the money from public sources, which is the city, to pay for the restoration. It was sort of taken out of context to suggest that we don't raise money, but we do raise private money as well as public money. So there wasn't It was just taken out of context. Her comment.
Okay. Thank you.
It is,
Questions?
the board knows that it's their job to raise money.
Thank you for clarifying that. You had a question? I'm trying to really be respectful and just ask specific questions, please.
How many bid sets have you put out with the different tradesmen?
Say that again.
How many sets have you put out with the various tradesmen to accomplish this project?
How many sets have we put out?
Bid sets.
Bid sets.
We are at the moment of putting out the bid. We haven't done the bid yet. We're about to do that.
Yes, question.
If we come back at a future meeting, if we come back
yes
at a future meeting and cite specific facts, knowing the exact amount of money that has already been allocated, how long it's been there, and some of those other facts, would the committee at large be willing to write up a whereas?
Or a resolution?
Yes.
I think that's within the purview of Community Board 12. Yeah.
Right.
Yes, absolutely, because resolutions reflect the concerns of the community, and that is certainly possible.
Right. So, could you give us a date to prepare that? Because
so
right now, we basically vented and
right, which is important. I think that, okay, so let me ask something. Would it be fair to first see if this mansion mingle, as I'm calling it that, can we wait until that happens and see if that is delivered to discuss this and then take it from there?
No, but if we do what I propose, what you're saying will happen quicker.
So you want the community board to write a resolution?
Yeah.
And in regards to the article, the concerns, and then and what is the ask of the resolution? To ask for specific dates?
Yeah, that the
dates?
Parks Department respond, concrete answers. Okay, because right now, like Catherine says, the money. What's that? What is the money? I mean, I don't have the figure myself, but I know that my colleagues in the neighborhood association know the exact amounts.
Understood.
When they were, so we would arm you with those facts in a form that would make it very easy for you to do the whereas.
You're in the phone.
Yes. So we have all the information. We're going to bring it up during our executive session with the board. And then most certainly, we can certainly prepare a resolution based on the concerns of the community and the questions that have been answered and the specific asks of the community.
Right, and we could do the same thing with the dog run.
Well, the dog run, we can say that we can write a resolution and we can say that, be it resolved, but that's not a promise, right? We can say, like I said, exactly. So we can say that it's beneficial, productive. Yeah.
Considerable amount of power coming from the community board.
Understood. Somebody had a question in the back?
Sorry, it's hard to figure out what to ask. A lot of questions, right?
And what is your name, dear? I'm sorry.
Pardon?
What's your name?
Thea, Thea. My question is, why another 6 months before we break ground? If that was the figure, the estimate that Catherine gave around mid-2024, she's putting out bids now. Why are we going to wait another 6 to 9 months?
Catherine, the question is why the window of 6 to 9 months?
I think that this is unfortunately the bureaucracy takes that long to get
10 years?
that.
It's 10 years?
No.
I understand that everybody wants this to happen. We want it to happen. Absolutely. The house is, I mean, I work there. I am really hyper aware of the deterioration of the house. It is really, really frustrating. And I get that. I totally get that. It is something that we are moving. I know it doesn't seem like it, but we are moving forward. Since I got here, we have come into a real, actual, series of actions. It doesn't look like it, but believe it or not, since I arrived, things have been happening behind the scenes. It's not anything to do with me. It's just timing. My predecessor worked very, very hard to get these things going and to, to move things along and raise a lot of noise when things weren't moving with the Parks Department and with HHT. I think with HHT's change in leadership, we are very happy that we are going to be able to get that moving. It is definitely happening. And I know that seems like an empty promise. But I have to make this happen. I can't keep working at a historic house that's falling apart.
Okay. Thank you. Alexis, you have a question?
Yeah, I do. Well, I don't know if it's a question more than a comment. So here's the deal. I just want to, and I'm in a very awkward position because it's somebody who used to work at the mansion and now is vice chair. All I can say is it's the lack of communication to the community, the lack of communication to the community. It had to reach to a New York Times article to get answers. That has been the biggest issue surrounding Morris Jamel Mansion, is its lack of care and attention to the local community, to the people who give it life, to the people who go into the parks. The community feels ignored, Catherine. That's it, plain and simple. And I know you're having this thing, but that's really off the backs of the Morris Jamel Neighborhood Association holiday party. And it doesn't feel good to feel that this information session is working off the back of a holiday party that was already planned. So what I'm saying to you is,
that is not.
Let me finish, please. Please engage with the community more. It would help the cause a great deal. It would make your life easier, and it would make everybody else here feel satisfied. It's a win-win.
We are involved with CB12, and we really want to make sure that we get the word out about what's happening. We want to be transparent, and I have worked very hard with the neighborhood association. The plan of sharing information with the community about the restoration happened long before the article came out. That was a plan that we made before that. And it doesn't actually have anything to do with the event that Luana talked about. Those are two different ideas. The neighborhood association asked me to talk about the restoration at their meeting and holiday party. I have been doing that at the neighborhood association meetings in an attempt to try to get the word out about what's going on. And I understand not everybody is part of the neighborhood association, but that was my first, trying to get the word out through the neighborhood association was my attempt. We are looking into creating a virtual event. The timing is difficult only because of the holidays to try to figure out when we can have some kind of virtual event where we can bring together various people who we can share some of the schematics that have been drawn up showing the work that is going to be done. These are things that we want to be able to share. It is in no way an attempt to keep anything quiet or hidden or anything less than transparent.
Any other questions? Yes.
Follow-up.
Yes, a question, please.
It is.
Yes, thank
The
you.
bids that you're waiting for now, were they ever bids that you had accepted prior to this? For example, when we saw you a year ago and we were with you and you had a very specific schedule with dates and work that was to be done, and did you actually have bids at that point? Had you put the bidding process out and accepted?
Those were not, I had very specific dates for the probe work. That was work that was with a contractor that was to get ready for the schematics, so that we had all the, it took all this time for them to do all of the analysis and study of the.
When you said we are going to break ground a year ago, you had mentioned breaking ground during the course of this last year.
Well, yes, we when I started, I hoped that we would be breaking ground right now, that it would happen this fall.
And it's just a kind of, you hadn't put out any bids.
No, not last year, no.
No, okay. That's all I need.
We weren't at that point.
So what I'm seeing here, just to clarify, we're going to put out a resolution to accelerate the process by which we gain more specific information. That's number one, Catherine. Number two, there's an overall concern about engaging the community. So more outreach, a more robust effort to conduct outreach in the community. There was a question about comparing two houses. I don't know, Jenna, if you want to answer that, because I don't want to bring a different variable that's going to start a brand new discussion, because we are discussing the Jumel Mansion exclusively. But there is a comment there that maybe you want to address in a general sense.
Sure.
Yes. And then, yes, go ahead.
Yeah, one thing I'm glad you asked, Luana, because again, another thing that's an aspect of this fundraising is that NYC Parks, the department, generally with Historic House Trust, NYC Parks, the department, is the one that someone like Catherine and the board at Morris Jumel Mansion have to work with to try to get the capital funding from elected officials, from state, from federal, from local. So most of capital funding is in the millions and millions of dollars. That's typically not something that board members who are volunteer members to try to save this house can raise on their own. So that level of capital funding that's required to repair a house like this that's been in deterioration for so long, that's one of the reasons it takes so long, is because it's dependent on elected funding and securing that, and then the whole long allocation process. So to your point, Luana, you can't compare it house to house. Each different house is structured in different ways by properties, 501c3s, boards, Historic House Trust. So again, as I shared before, Morris Jumel Mansion is structured differently than, say, Dyckman Farmhouse. Does that help?
I believe so. Yes. Any other questions?
I'm sorry to ask one last question.
Yes, please.
And it's a positive one.
Good. Well, we want to encourage a positive discussion and a productive one.
So the article itself, we heard emails when I woke up in the morning from Italy. People were reading it there.
Right.
Today, a week later, I'm still getting phone calls from places like Connecticut saying, I just saw this article. So my understanding is that article on that Saturday generated more contributions because of people just being so upset by it than at any time in the history of the Morris Jumel Mansion. Is that true?
No,
Were there,
I
can you estimate how many contributions were made? Where did she go? She just
None. We have not had any contributions based on the article.
So the Saturday of the article, you didn't get a flood of contributions. My understanding was that you did.
I would love to think that. The double-edged sword here is that the article brings attention to the mansion, and that is wonderful. We want the attention on the mansion. And so we want to, you know, highlight the needs of the mansion and what it can be, what it will be. And so all of those things are good. It's not, you know, I don't see the article as all bad, because I think that it shows people's concern for a historic house. That is wonderful. That is, you know, that's my business. And to hear so many people being concerned about it is really great. That's not a terrible thing. It did not translate yet into funding, but I would say on Saturday, this past Saturday, we had the opening of a new exhibit called Life Below Stairs. It is a reinterpretation of our 18th century kitchen, looking at the lives of the people who worked in the mansion. That opening of that exhibit was a fundraising reception. And we set a goal of having 100 people purchase tickets. And it wasn't an expensive thing. It was $35 for members and $50 for non-members, but that sold out. Now, I think I would conjecture that part of that was because of the article that it sold out. So we didn't get a direct contribution saying, you know, this is because of the article, but I think that we have seen, you know, an influx of interest and, you know, an ancillary boost.
Any other questions? Yes.
Hi, I was wondering if you have any plans to change any of the leadership or strategy and able to engage the community, as I feel like we've made it clear here. A lot of us don't feel like you've engaged the community or failed to engage the community. So I was wondering if you had new strategies beyond what you have already stated to engage the community. For example, the event you just mentioned, many of us in this room who are there on every single day didn't even hear about it.
I understand that there is obviously the need to share more information in different ways than we presently do.
And we have established that.
So what's the strategy?
We have established a section of a committee of our board. I just came from a board meeting to this meeting, and we are working together to strategize how to move forward and how to, you know, how to do the event that we're talking about, how to get, we want to work with, we're somewhat, well, we work with HHT on our messaging. And so we want to really work to get more discussion out in the community. This is something that Meredith, the head of HHT, and I have been—
Just became the head of HHT also, right?
Yeah, we've been talking about this. This was before the article came out, that I have said to her, we have to tell people, you know, what is going on. That's the most important thing, is to tell people what's happening. When we say we're moving the dates, you know, that we have to tell people what's going on. So we are having that discussion. It is more focused, and we have a different group of people talking about it. And I'm very happy to say we have a new board member whose expertise is crisis management and communication. So I'm really, really excited to have her input.
If you had a question?
Yeah, so for example, did you apply to the Manhattan Borough President's Cultural Tourism Grant over the summer?
No.
Okay, so be on the lookout and apply for it this coming year. Because what that will do, and I used to apply for it when I was there, so I don't know how you can get information on that. But what it will do, it'll pay for the printing of marketing materials. So you can do a banner on the side, you can have monies to print out postcards, things like that. So just be vigilant about what comes through from Manhattan Borough President's office. It probably will come, that application will probably be coming through February or March. And I'd also like to recommend that you apply for city council discretionary funding.
We do.
That can all be sent in links,
Yeah.
in links to her, right?
No, I'm saying in general.
Yeah.
I just want to clarify a little bit about the relationship between the Historic House Trust and the mansion. We and parks. So, there are certain things that we are allowed to do and certain things we're not allowed to do as an organization because of the relationship between HHT and parks. And I work with Jana to make sure that the park is clean and cut back. We have done an enormous amount of work this year to really have an impact. And I thank Jana, and anybody who's been in the park knows how much has gone into cleaning up the park. But that is not, I am asking Jana, so I'm advocating on behalf of the park to have that, but I cannot set the rules in the park, nor can I establish things in the park. It is a relationship that we have, a partnership. And it is similar with the Historic House Trust, that the Morris Jamel Mansion organization works with the Historic House Trust to communicate things to the public or have a sign outside. The signs that we have outside, I would agree, are insufficient, but those are not, those are Historic House Trust signs that we have. So we have to, this is all a communication that we have with HHT and the parks, and we all work together to try to do these things. And I'm not trying to throw anyone under the bus at all. This is us trying to do the best we can so that we're communicating these things. Clearly, we need to do more to communicate with the community. And I think that, we have to get to a place where we all understand that we're really rooting for the same thing. We're all rooting for the mansion to be great. We're all interested in the same goal. And so I really don't want to be an adversary to progress. This is really what we want. We all want that. So I don't want to suggest otherwise in whatever I've said.
Jenna, you have a question, or you want to address something? And also there was a question about if parks, or does parks, and how do they allocate funding?
Sure, yes. I want to clarify something that Catherine said. I am a 17-year resident of Washington Heights. Love the mansion, have been a fan and a supporter over the years. And when I took on the role of administrator of Northern Manhattan Parks in mid-July, I made it one of my top priorities to create a plan for Roger Morris Park. And I invited Catherine to be a part of that and to help us in terms of her past year with any insights or thoughts she has. However, The mansion has nothing to do with the park, except, to keep an eye out because they're there. And my job with my team is to make sure that the park is improving, which we have worked very hard, as she said, to do. We will keep doing that. We have some other plans in place. We've been working with Central Park Conservancy. I brought them in as our partner to help us move faster with the park. And I hope everybody has noticed the difference, particularly in the sunken garden. And we will have to work around the mansion's construction. So that is something that we have to work with Catherine on and Historic House Trust. In terms of the allocation of funding, at our parks in Northern Manhattan, I oversee 35 parks above 155th with our great team. And it is very challenging in this fiscal crisis to do the work that we have to do, not only because we have reduced staff, reduced hours, no overtime, et cetera, but again, because all capital funding for our parks, and this is what I mentioned before in terms of also significant millions and millions of capital funding required for historic houses, tends to have to come from elected officials. And that money moves slowly.
So I want to do thank you, Jana. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, everybody. I want to do a time check. It is 9:04. Are there any other pressing questions that don't necessarily lead us into repeating information that has been heard already tonight?
I have a yes or no question.
Yes or no?
My question is, you stated the board knows they need to raise money. So my yes or no question is, do you have a marketing strategy or development department?
We have a marketing strategy. We do not have a development department.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's see, online community. All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for coming. We do have a lot of items on the docket. I do encourage for the communication to continue to be open, fluid. We do have some items as a community board, a resolution that is forthcoming. The way resolutions work is we draft the resolution as a committee. It goes through the board. We accept amendments, and then it gets passed by the board. Community board meetings are the fourth Thursday of every month, and it's also on our public calendar. So you can go to Community Board 12 meetings, and our website is there. Our calendar is there. All of our committees is there. So I highly encourage you to go through our website.
The fourth Thursday is
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Oh, no. So then it's,
That's, you mean the general meeting?
the general meeting. It's, I think it was on Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday, Tuesday. It's not on Thursdays. I'm sorry. It's the third Tuesday of every month. I'm so sorry about that.
First is the next.
Yeah.
What's it? Yeah.
Okay.
23rd, yes.
And that's usually held at Columbia, right?
It depends. It rotates. So thank you so much. The meeting is adjourned at 9:06 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you.
Other 10 folders.